Life just started working for me in my favor, and I want the same thing for you. When you're speaking negatively towards yourself, life is not working for you. But when you're speaking to yourself in a more high note, a higher tone, positive affirmations and words, life just starts working. It's doing its thing. We're not going to be bullies towards ourselves, okay? And we're going to be very, very positive. Right now, tell your inner child that they're not good enough, whatever you're thinking. Because if you click this video, you do have self-doubts, or you're talking to yourself in a negative way. Imagine yourself talking to your younger self, your inner child, the younger version of you right now. Tell them that they're not good enough. Tell them that they're not beautiful, they're not attractive enough, that they deserve to let that opportunity pass them and they'll never reach it. And imagine how that conversation will go right now, talking to the younger version of you. Let's talk about changing the way that we talk to ourselves. Let's stop the negative self-talking and work on talking to ourselves in a more positive light. Why is it that we are so negative towards ourselves? Why are we our biggest bully, our worst enemy, and the hardest person to please when it comes to ourselves? And this is very, very important because our reality is not just physical, and it's mostly mental and a very intellectual conversation and dialogue between ourselves and our actions, therefore shaping our reality. We have the power to choose what we see and how we respond. So why in the world do we want to continue living in a reality where we're believing this self-doubt, where we're not good enough, or we're not attractive enough, or we don't deserve the opportunity that we wanted? Why do we want to live in that realm when we can be living in a much higher place, a better place? And this is all because we're speaking to ourselves in a negative manner. Because it's true. I'm going to be honest with you, and I'm not going to sugarcoat it with you. Whatever you're believing right now, whatever you're telling yourself, and if it's negative, it's true. You're not good enough. You're not attractive enough. You're not beautiful, or you don't deserve that opportunity that you really wanted that passed you up. It's true. If you believe it mentally, like if it's something that you're constantly thinking, then it's true. And I'm not going to sugarcoat that for you. You've believed it and spoke it into this realm, and that's the actions that you're going to follow. That's the direction that you're going to take. It doesn't matter what someone else says, or the rejection that you received, or the opportunity that passed you up. It's only true when you believe it. It's only true when you speak these things and believe it and let it flow out of your mouth. And so that's what we're going to work on today. And that's something I had to work on myself, is speaking to myself in a more highly manner, highly light, and lifting myself up instead of always talking to myself in such a negative way. We need to understand that every day we are having an intellectual conversation with ourselves and our reality. And therefore, it's like our future reality and the present is waiting on us to make a move. It's waiting to see how we're going to respond and what we're going to put into this world mentally. Are we going to talk to ourselves in a negative way and move in that direction, therefore shaping that reality? Or are we going to talk to ourselves in a much more uplifting way, moving in a much more higher direction, a better reality that we want for ourselves? Now that we know how important this is, let's talk about replacing our negative self-talk with positive self-talk, and how we can do that so that we can reach a better, higher place. Because let me tell you, like, when you start speaking more highly towards yourself and getting rid of negative self-talk, life starts working in your favor. This is why this is very, very important. So let's get into it, okay? I know this sounds so cliche and very basic and vague, but be aware. A lot of the times, most of the times, we're walking around here every day not aware of how we're speaking to ourselves. and we're not aware of how we're speaking to ourselves or what we're telling ourselves. Pay attention constantly and be mindful that our words and our mindset is very, very powerful. Pay attention to any negative self-doubt, or anytime you are doubting yourself, or anytime you're starting to speak to yourself in a negative way. Like, that's very important. We have to be very, very aware that we are existing and that we are powerful in how we are speaking to ourselves. And so this leads me to say, what are you feeding yourself? What are we feeding ourselves? Pay attention to what you're feeding yourself also. Are you feeding yourself negative thoughts, negative energy, bad affirmations for yourself? Or are you going to feed yourself positive affirmations and motivations, anything that's going to lift you up? But what you feed yourself creates the environment for your actions and your reality. What are you reading? What type of music are you listening to? What does your social media feeds look like every day? What are you looking at every single day? Who are you dating? What does your friends look like? Who are you allowing to pour into yourself? And what type of motivations and words are you listening to for you to follow in that direction? That is very, very important, because this is creating an environment around us. Feed yourself positive affirmations and motivations and guidance, or especially from people and things that's going in the direction that you want. But you want positive, in a positive environment, so that you're not tempted to speak to yourself in a negative way. And so this also leads me to say, okay, talk to your inner child constantly. Right now, tell your inner child that they're not good enough, whatever you're thinking. Because if you click this video, you do have self-doubts, or you're talking to yourself in a negative way. So right now, imagine yourself talking to your younger self, your inner child, the younger version of you right now. Tell them that they're not good enough. Tell them that they're not beautiful, they're not attractive enough, that they deserve to let that opportunity pass them and they'll never reach it. Tell them, and imagine how that conversation will go right now, talking to the younger version of you. You're sitting across from yourself right now. And believe it or not, your inner child still exists with you right now, and they are listening every single time. So do you want to constantly talk to your younger self, your inner child, in a negative way? Or do you want to uplift them? Do you want to actually nurture them and provide them the nurture that they may not have received in the past or down the line? Talk to them kindly and respectfully and lift them up, because what you feel, what your inner child feels, it does reflect on you, on your present. It does reflect on you daily and what you do. So now we're going to also say, combat these negative self-talk with positive self-talk. So giving yourself affirmations and verbally allowing these things to flow out of your mouth. Again, be aware, okay? So anytime you say a negative thought or some negative words about yourself, say something positive. Combat it with an affirmation or motivation or a manifestation, something that you want. This also leads to praying and speaking to God, and providing yourself positive scriptures, reminding yourself what he says about your worth and who you are. And just don't believe the negative thoughts, because those are just thoughts in a part of your mind. And remember, it's only true when we believe it, not when someone else says it. And so this also means practice gratitude. And this is something that I find myself doing very much whenever I do start having self-doubt or talking to myself in a negative way, in a very unattractive way. I start practicing gratitude. So I start being grateful for the things that I do have. And I'm encouraging you to do that too. Be grateful for the things that are in your life right now, because nothing lasts forever. And when those things do depart from your life, it's going to be too late, because you never appreciated them, even if it was great, amazing seasons. And I'm just talking about just the blessings that we have. And so for me, it's something very simple, just waking up throughout the day, just waking up and being able to see another day, experiencing my favorite season, or having an apartment, to live in, or being able to move to a new city, or having my own dog, like just being grateful for the little things. It's taking our minds, it's taking our minds away from the negative things and really being placed in a more healthy, positive, loving environment and appreciating the things that we do have. And therefore, that's going to encourage us to speak, more highly and have a better vocabulary when it comes to speaking towards ourselves. I'll also say manifestation and prayer. I know I kind of mentioned that, but this deserves its own point. Manifestation and prayer. Spend time with yourself every day. I know I keep saying being aware, but actually being determined and intentionally spending time with yourself and slowing down, even if it's just for like 5 minutes throughout the day or taking a small walk. Spend time with yourself and live in that positive environment. For me, it's prayer and reading the word and remembering what God says about me. My best days are when I do start my day remembering what God says about me. But it also includes manifestation as well, believing that what I want does exist in the future. Therefore, it already exists in this present, because remember, it's an intellectual conversation, a dialogue between ourselves and our actions, therefore shaping our future reality. So mentally, if I'm believing that this thing is happening, then I'm only going to speak positive words towards that and speak to myself more positively, which means I'm walking in a better direction instead of thinking that I'm not good enough for this thing that I want. So manifestation in prayer is very, very important. And so I'm gonna end it off with this, because this is probably the most important part or the most sensitive point. Have grace towards yourself. Give yourself grace. What makes you think that you don't deserve grace but everybody else in your life does? Like, you deserve it. Stop being your biggest bully, your worst enemy. Give yourself grace and understand that you're not perfect. You're not perfect now, and you're not going to be perfect down the line. And if you are placing a lot of weight on your shoulders, and this is constantly the reason why you're talking to yourself in a negative way, because of the mistakes you made in the past, well, you weren't perfect back then either. Give yourself grace for not being perfect in the past. Remember that. Like, we're not meant to be perfect. We're not meant to live perfect lives, and just think about how boring that would be anyway, and the lack of growth that we would have from not experiencing those challenges. Mistakes will happen. Failure will occur. My accent. Failure will happen. And there will be times where we feel insecure because of it. And it's okay to experience those feelings. But we have to keep moving forward and speak to ourselves in a more positive way. And there's a difference between feelings and belief. Feelings is all on the inside. It's all up in here, and it's what we're feeling. And it's okay to experience those things. But believing is when we take those feelings and what we're feeling everywhere and take them out into this world, into this realm, this reality, and we're experiencing these beliefs. Yes, it's okay to feel these negative things, but no, it's not okay to believe these negative things. We don't want that, because that's only going to lead to us speaking negatively towards ourselves and hindering our growth. Like I said, when we have negative thoughts, combat it with positive thoughts. Be more aware. Feed yourself positive affirmations, and give yourself healthy food for your mind, so that you're not placing yourself in a unhealthy environment, and therefore you can achieve everything that you want. And this is something that I'm working on as well. I still do it. And so I've been combating my negative self-talk with positive self-talk. And y'all, let me tell y'all, like, when I start speaking to myself in a more positive way, like, life just started working for me in my favor. And I cannot wait. Like, I'm going to manifest this right now to you guys. Like, I cannot wait to share the fruit that's coming from this and the positive things that's coming from this. Like, the life that I want just by me speaking more positively. So I manifest that I will be able to share these things with you guys down the line. But right now, I'm gonna keep them to myself and hold on to them. And again, practice gratitude. Life just started working for me in my favor, and I want the same thing for you. When you're speaking negatively towards yourself, life is not working for you. But when you're speaking to yourself in a more high note, a higher tone, positive affirmations and words, life just starts working. It's doing its thing. We're not going to be bullies towards ourselves, okay? And we're going to be very, very positive. And so I want to thank you for watching this video. I do hope that it helps. I want you to remember that you got this. You are powerful. You're very powerful up here, and it's okay to experience your feelings, but don't let them control you, okay? So speak highly of yourselves. I believe in you. You got this, and you're safe in this space here with me. But I love you, okay? And until next time, all right? Positive thoughts.